There's a unique place, not only of the influence of Europe, but the influence of the universities of Europe. It influences the ideas for society. That's where leaders of society are formed, leaders in politics are formed, leaders in the church are formed. That's the place where we need the move of God. That's the place that we need Jesus to be centered and people to encounter him in powerful ways for the assignments that they have for the rest of their lives.
Charles Malik was the Secretary of the United Nations back in the day, and he's a Christian, and he was the one who said, more potently than by any other means, if you change a university, you change the world.
The college campus, the university campus, is the most strategic mission field in the world. On a university campus, you have diversity coming to be formed. You have people deciding what they're going to be about, who they're going to do it with, and then you don't have to convince them to leave. They're already going after a couple years. And that sounds like a training ground for something really, really special.
The university years are the most strategic years, I believe, of a person's life. That's when the most important decisions are made. That's when our character are formed. That's when so much of who we are is decided in those years. We saw an outpouring in our very generation. 18 university students in Asbury, Kentucky. They lingered and they led the way. And for 16 days, 60,000 people went to that place to see what God was doing in that place. People from every continent, 300 university campuses in the US visited Asbury. This was not 100 years ago. This was not 50 years ago. This was not 10 years ago. This was last year.
Asbury was just riveting. We saw so many people go from death to life, like lost to found. We saw eyes blind, now seen. We saw tumors disappear. We saw, there's nothing better than Jesus doing what Jesus does.
That's what we love to see. We love to see students fully stepping into sharing the gospel, being agents of transformation in their campuses, in society.
Historically, when we look at revivals in Europe, we often see that they start on university campuses. I think of John Wesley and his Holy Club at Oxford University, which went on to transform my nation of the United Kingdom. And what strikes me was their hunger for holiness, their pursuit in friendship, in their university, and hunger for consecration.
Gen Z actually has some of the ingredients to be a real revival generation. They want Jesus. They want the real thing.
There's such a cry in this generation, for righteousness, for justice, and what I know, the solution is him, the solution is the gospel, the solution is what he did for us.
Coming to uni, I was just really open to see, how can I form my identity in a way that's separate to my parents? How can I, what do I actually believe? What don't I believe? Through my own time as a student, what was happening in our community, we saw the ripple effect of that also impacting the whole city. If you in your student years build that foundation, it builds something so strong for the rest of your life.
So the strategy of a campus, I think, is Jesus calling people together in such a formational season to be trained, reached, trained, equipped, and then sent out.
We find ourselves at a time in our lives when we are deciding our careers, our relationships, what we want to do with our lives, and we have this unique opportunity to lay it all before the King of Kings, to choose to live a surrendered life, to say, I want to live for something bigger than me.
And there's this sentence that we are kind of the average of the 5 people that we hang out with. Hang out with people that love Jesus as you do, that are willing to say yes like you do. And in this, you form a community that wants to be in that place with you, that want to see revival.
I think the university campus could be the hope of the world right now, if we prioritize Jesus on it.
And it's exciting for us to be thinking about the universities of Europe, because history has shown if you change the universities, you change the world.